Hello and welcome to Road America with the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League Fall Season, race number 5 tonight in these GT3 machines. It's been a good season so far, very exciting racing. We've got a slightly larger car count today. Should make things that much more interesting here at this 4-mile racetrack located just outside of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, off of Highway 67. This 14-turn, 4-mile track, very historic, and home for a lot of different major motorsports series, including IndyCar and IMSA. And looking forward to an exciting night of racing here. My name is Adam Baker, and I'll be your commentator for the night. I want to thank you for joining us here on V-Speed. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the broadcast. And make sure to tune on in for each of the races for the rest of this very exciting fall season. Make sure to also check out the sponsors for this series, Gunfire Games and Duncan Racing Designs. They do a lot to help these guys out and put on these awesome events for you to watch. Let's take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. Clint Fletcher atop the standings with his lone race win a couple of weeks back. Looking very good up there. Brian Kennedy, last season's champion, just a few points behind a few other names you'll be familiar with. Peter Lanek getting that victory this season. He's down there in 10th, but able to get up into the top 10. Still pretty tight here through the first 4 races of this season, and things could get shaken up just a little bit here at Road America. Let's head trackside as qualifying is wrapping up. Michael Pavolano, currently the quickest on the racetrack, and Clint Fletcher close second to him. See the qualifying times up there on the left. We've got 13 drivers here reporting for duty tonight. That is awesome to see. Take a look at our race analysis for tonight's event. 4 miles, just under 6.5 kilometers in length. A very long road course here in Wisconsin. 14 corners, a lot of opportunities to make mistakes. Tonight's event, the dual 20-minute format, as always. The top 12 will be inverted from qualifying to the heat race, and then from the heat race to the feature event. Top 15 in every session will earn points, so everybody's getting points here tonight with less than 15 drivers. And again, race 5 of 14, we're not even to the halfway part of the season, but it has been so exciting so far, and the championship really shaping up to be something to watch for here over the next couple of months. Drivers are starting to grid up. Let's take a look at your fastest qualifiers from tonight at Road America. Fastest in qualifying is going to be Michael Pavolano. He'll go to the back with the invert. Clint Fletcher, quick as always in the number 69 machine, going to be second fastest. Looking at third quickest here, Dave Hines, good to see him back. Aaron Dietrich in the 4th fastest spot. Brian Kennedy, 5th quickest. Edgar Sentinelli going to be 6th quickest. That is a new name, or a name that we haven't seen in a while. Dean Tulin, 7th fastest. Colin Kornick, 8th quickest. Mike Nickham, 9th fastest in qualifying. Matthew Gazenda rounds out the top 10 on the qualifying grid. Rex Jarawala in the 11th spot. 12th is Peter Lanek, and Scott Kim not taking a time in qualifying, going to grid up at the back of the field. And he will not get the benefit of the invert because he's outside the top 12. As we get things rolling here, Peter Lanek is going to be on the front row alongside Rex Jarawala. And Rex, not a name that seems familiar to me with this series, so making his potentially his first start at this track with this league in the GT3 machines. Very beautiful area up here. Kind of a road through the forest, and looking to see some great action as always. We've got all different types of race cars, makes and models. The Lamborghini Huracan of Peter Lanek getting, I believe, the first victory for a Lamborghini in this league just a few weeks back. Mercedes AMGs, Ford Mustangs, Ferraris, BMWs, McLarens. Good variety of machines as we are about to get things off and away up the hill, and green flag is out. We're racing at Road America. Nice and orderly so far. Really nice shots here by the camera crew. You can see the drivers working around these difficult corners. 14 of them to be exact. Going to be difficult to navigate as we pull up our race ticker. You can see where your favorite drivers are running here tonight. Make sure to cheer them on in the chat and let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for. Good battle just inside the top 5 going on. Colin Kortnick able to slip in front of Brian Kennedy as the Ferrari and the McLaren will set to do battle here, 5th and 6th, as they're making their way towards turn number 8. Going to be a left-hander. And then turns 9 and 10, long right-hand sweeping turn. We'll go on board with Colin here on lap number 1. Not seeing any issues for any drivers so far, so that is a great sign. Already more than halfway through this lap. And just a little wide of the mark through that turn. But everybody's staying on course. You're going to get a nice big draft down this backstretch, hard right-hand turn. Hard on the brakes there. You can see Colin getting a little bit squirrely, getting some pressure from Brian Kennedy. They'll work back through turns 13 and going to be a final right-hander here through turn number 14, and they'll head back towards the start-finish line, which includes a huge hill to climb right here past the pit exit. Behind Colin Kortnick, battle starting to emerge. That is Brian Kennedy being too lean in his BMW, getting a nice run through the final couple of corners. But right now, Dave Hines giving a bit of a bump draft to the 77, second place in points. Brian Kennedy was actually lost a spot as the car goes around. That is Hines, able to get it collected. A close call for the driver of the number 8 BMW. Let's take a look at what happened right there. Just going down into turn number 1. Goes a little wide. The back end steps out and he loses control. And everybody able to avoid him. Nice job there by Aaron Dietrich, the 13 machine, who has not made any progress so far after starting towards the back. So that is where Dave Hines now settles in the 12th spot. Michael Pavolano has had some problems on lap number 1. We find him all the way towards the back. He's got damage on his Ferrari. That is not how you want to start the night. And if he wants to benefit from the invert, he's going to have to get into the top 12. Right now running in that lone 13th position that's just outside the invert. But how about Rex Jarawala out in front in his Mercedes AMG and driving away? That is a 1.5 second gap for Jarawala in the 7 machine. Absolutely flying around here on lap number 1. The only driver in the 2-minute 10-second bracket. And it's not going to be a lot of laps run here tonight as Brian Kennedy takes peak drivers right on Colin Kortnick as they work through turn 12, back through turn 13. That kink on the straightaway. And into turn number 14. We'll go on board here with Brian, who's trying to make up some ground. Has gained 2 spots in this race after starting in 8th. Up to 6th right now for our second place points driver. He'll streak past the start finish line to complete lap number 2. Lap number 3 goes up on the board. Jarawala pulling away now, 2 seconds ahead. Take a look at Edgar Sancinelli, also a new name, running in the 8th spot after starting in 7th. He's under pressure from Clint Fletcher, who was, remember, one of the fastest in qualifying. Pavolano was your quickest, and we've got a car around. That is Matthew Gazenda. Going to slide all the way into the barrier and going to lose the nose of his Ford Mustang. We go back and take a look at what happens to Matt. And just gets onto the curb, loses the back end, not able to correct it, and head on into the wall. And the Remnant 2 Ford Mustang with heavy damage to the front end. And the bumper actually kind of wedged underneath. Not how you want to start your night here at Road America, as he is still making his way back around the track. Very slow pace here. The bumper probably causing some issues for him. Not something I'm accustomed to seeing here on iRacing, but that is a really accurate situation sometimes where these body parts can get stuck underneath the rest of the car. This is a really good battle, though, for the 4th position. Colin Kortnick has it. Brian Kennedy wants it, but so does Dean Tulane. They go side by side once again here. Brian Kennedy in that outside groove. The McLaren not really showing the pace I think you would probably expect it to, and he's actually going to get passed up there. Dean Tulane. Here comes Clint Fletcher now, going to try and slip on past. He's going to go through. But Brian Kennedy not having quite the pace here as they work through turn number 14. Car goes around. That is Sancinelli. As he loops it out of the final corner. Started 7th. He's now back to the 12th spot. Matthew Gazenda still making his way around. He has lost control of his car again. Backs it into the concrete wall. And so woes continue for the 52 here early in this one. Keeping an eye on the 69 of Clint Fletcher, who of the fastest qualifiers has made the most progress. He's up 6 positions in this race, trying to get himself a lot more points. He's now past 2nd in the standings. So these two, the top 2 in the fight for the championship at the moment, and battling for position on the racetrack. We're used to seeing them fight for race wins. Right now fighting to be in the top 5 and maybe even more than that. Scott Kim's made some progress. He's up 4 positions, just running a nice, clean, smooth race in his Ferrari 296 GT3. And still keeping up with the rest of this field. Very nice job. Scott got a podium earlier in the season and has had some really strong runs through the first 4 races. A great job of adminning and managing this league. You guys are all busy, and Scott travels a lot and somehow finds time to manage all of this. It is not easy to manage a league. Is nice pass there. Colin Kortnick going to go around Peter Lanik. Lanik looks back driver's right. Ends up missing the corner just a little bit. That opens the door for Clint Fletcher. They'll race side by side. They work now towards turn number 14 off. The track goes Colin Kortnick trying to get it back under control. And there's going to be contact at 57 of Nickham. Going to go around. Brian Kennedy gets involved. Huge contact there. And that was a mess. Saw a body part in the front bumper flying off of one of these. We've still got cars crashing. 57 of Mike Nickham got tagged by the 32 of Colin Kortnick. They go around. It looks like a few cars able to avoid. Brian Kennedy gets collected in it. But I think there was another car that comes piling in possibly. As there goes Brian. Oh, wow. Huge hit. Who was that? Michael Pavolano came flying in and couldn't see anything, and wow, Mike Nickham goes for a tumble. That is not something we've seen very often on this in this league. Let's take another look at this. That is a huge hit, and no way for really either driver to know what was happening, and that is ugly. And that's when you are happy that this is a simulation, and Mike Nickham has taken it to the pit road. Still battling further up in the field. Aaron Dietrich, Dave Hines were just swapping positions. Pavolano's pulled it down pit road. He's going to get the damage repaired on that car. But wow, what a bit of chaos as Rex Jarwala has just driven away from the field. Goes a little bit wide through the turn there, but he is 8 seconds up from Clint Fletcher. And in terms of lap times, those are your 2 quickest cars. Like Peter Lanik's had some problems. He's got damage to the left front. We're going to see if we can find out what happened to the Lamborghini machine of Peter Lanik. Like he already had the problem, ends up looping it Slides off into the gravel, but able to get it collected and loses a few spots. He falls now back to the 9th position. A lot of drivers with problems here in race number 1, just past halfway in this session. A lot of things to be learned and improved upon, I think, for most of these guys headed into the feature event for the night. How about Jarawala, though, still hanging tough, 7.1 seconds up the road. But Fletcher put down a very nice lap. He's been able to close up that much more. And he's bringing Dean Tooley, and Dean is putting down some really nice laps. Top 4 or 5. Dave Hines, actually, quickest car last time around, a 2:05.96. That is the quickest lap of anyone. Keep an eye on Dave Hines in the feature. The number 8 machine looking very fast as this race has progressed. Put it all by himself in the top 5, looking to score some nice stage points, or rather heat race points. Just a little bit too much NASCAR with their stages and stuff, and they don't have stages here. It's 20-minute endurance races. Brian Kennedy still rolling out here with the front end of his McLaren completely missing, and still making good lap time, about a 1.5 seconds off of the leader, but he's hanging right here with Edgar Sancinelli, making his debut. The Ford Mustang, and he was almost lucky, I think, to have avoided all of that by spinning a little bit earlier. He was able to not be in position to get collected in that melee out of turn number 14. As we are keeping an eye on the battle for the race lead, Clint Fletcher continuing to chip away at it, down to 6.3 seconds. They work back to the straightaway. Jarawala across the line. Here comes Clint Fletcher and his McLaren. No real battles for position, but this one's starting to get closer. He sliced off about 2 seconds, and that time Fletcher puts down the fastest lap of the race by anyone. Dave Hines had previously put down the fastest lap. He goes quicker this time, actually puts his fastest, but that is just the second quickest lap of the night. Michael Pavolano also looking very fast, of course, collected in a few things in this race. We know Michael to be a very strong driver, and sometimes it's a little bit too aggressive for his own good here on the sim, but he's just trying to get there to the front, and easy to overstep with so many different drivers and cars on the racetrack with different strengths and weaknesses. And right now it looks like he'll get the benefit of the invert, and remember, fastest in qualifying. Right now lined up to start from the pole in the feature race, and he's now headed towards Matthew Gazenda. This would be a change for position. The 11th and 12th, Gazenda without the front end of his car. Still finding his way around. And the margin for the race lead now down to 5.5 seconds. Clint Fletcher up to Rex Jarawala. Keep an eye on that distance, and we'll look for other drivers looking to do battle. Nobody really within 2 seconds of one another at this point. And that is what you'll get here when you go to a 4-mile racetrack with a sort of smaller field, but good to see at least a few more guys out on the track tonight than we've seen previously this season. But Scott Kim making his charge up towards 3rd place. Dean Tooley and Scott having a really strong race. Tied for biggest mover with Clint Fletcher. They've both gained 9 spots. Scott has come all the way from 13th up to 4th as we keep an eye on him. He's just less than 2 seconds behind Dean Tooley. That could be an interesting battle to get onto the podium and score some great points. Of course, Scott comes into this race looking at the point standings. Comes into this race 7th, tied for 7th with Michael Pavolano in the standings. And, this could be really helpful for him. He's actually going to earn quite a few more points than Michael Pavolano in this race if they finish as they run. Also got to be aware of Dave Hines, who's putting down faster and faster laps. Currently the 3rd fastest car on the racetrack, this green number 8 BMW. So there goes Scott Kim. Actually, as we speak about it, gonna get passed up. Both these bright green machines changing hands now, 4th and 5th. Aaron Dietrich's had a nice strong race. He's up 3 spots from 9th to 6th. So it looks like the lead battle dissolving somewhat. We're going to keep an eye on these two right here. This could be a good battle for the top 5 for podium finishes, because we've got just a couple more laps to go when Jarwala crosses the stripe, which he will do here in just a moment. Exciting race to this point, and it is far from over for a lot of these drivers. Still over 28 turns to go. As Dave Hines hangs on to 4th, he's just 3.6 seconds behind Dean Tulien, and putting down a lap time there almost 2 seconds faster. Could be a battle for that final step of the podium before it's all said and done. Keep an eye on this 8. Well, as the 7-Eleven, Scott putting down not a great lap that time with his off-track excursion, but he's been running very consistently in the 206s and low 207s, and with a little draft from Hines and just focusing forward, could maybe get up there to fight for 4th or 3rd even before it's all said and done. As the laps have gone on here, it does appear that it's Michael Pavolano and Dave Hines, your 2 fastest drivers late in the run. Clint Fletcher's fallen off just a little bit, obviously pushing really hard, but he is gaining quite a lot. It looks like Jarwala maybe went off the track. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him just a few moments ago. He lost a huge chunk of that race lead. Keeping an eye on it here. Your race leader, Jarwala, at one point was ahead by over 8 seconds. And yeah, lost the back end late in the race here. That gap now just 2 seconds. And the tire is going to be a little bit angry with Rex for doing that to them. Going around turn number 14 to the white flag. This will be the last lap. The gap less than 2 seconds from Clint Fletcher. He's going to actually start to sniff a little bit of that draft down the front stretch here. And if he gets a nice run on this stretch, could be within striking distance before the end of the lap. 14 more corners to go for Jarwala in his debut to win the heat race. And he'll get sent all the way to the back based on the invert. Also change of position. Number 5, Aaron Dietrich takes that spot away, and Scott Kim falls to 6th. And you can see this 7 machine struggling just a little bit for a grip. AMG just a little bit unhappy late in the run. Very front heavy car versus the McLaren of Clint Fletcher, which should be a pretty balanced machine. There's your top 2, just 1.1 seconds separating them. White flag again is in the air. Keeping an eye on other battles, no other positions really swapping hands. Dave Hines less than 1 second behind Dean Tulien. It looks like these two battling for the win might not get close enough to actually fully battle for it, but Fletcher, what a run for him. All the way from 11th up to 2nd, and he has been 2nd in a lot of these races. You can see carrying really good speed through that part of the track. The time starts to tick down. It's nearly under 1 second now. It will be under 1 second as he dives deep into the braking zone. Turn number 12. He'll head back through the final 2 corners here. Turn 13, this kink to the left, and then back to the right. Turn number 14, that gap less than 0.6 of a second. But it's all Rex Jarrawala leading every lap. And Clint Fletcher try as he might, cannot quite get there, but it's going to be a drag race back. Just a couple of car lengths. That's the difference from 8 seconds down to 1 car length. And Jarrawala takes the win. What a battle between those 2 drivers, and we have a fight for position. Dave Hines going to get by Dean Tulane, who's got an issue, maybe running out of fuel. That appears to be the case. Yeah, that car coasting, and he's going to actually fall to 4th. Dave Hines takes the last step of the podium. And Aaron Dietrich goes up to the 5th spot as they send it down into turn number 1. Sancinelli finishes 6th. Scott Kim 7th. Ryan Kennedy able to recover up to the 8th position. He will come across the line here. No front end on that McLaren. But what a battle. I can't believe it was that close at the end of it as Ryan Kennedy piles in there. Few drivers yet to cross the line, but doesn't look like there's going to be any change for position. So we'll pull up our race results before we head to the halfway break. You'll hear about our race sponsors for the night. Rex Jarrawala taking the win. Clint Fletcher a close second after coming from nearly 8 seconds back. Dave Hines finishes in the 3rd spot. Dean Tulane running out of fuel there in the final moments comes home 4th. Aaron Dietrich nearly got him at the line, comes home 5th. Edgar Sancinelli finishes in the 6th spot. Scott Kim 7th. Brian Kennedy 8th. Concord Nick 9th. And Peter Lanik rounding out top 10. 11th was Michael Pavolano. Matthew Gazenda in 12th. And Mike Nickham taking it behind the wall early there after a violent wreck. Turn 14 early in this race. That'll do it for our heat here at Road America. We're going to go to a quick halfway break. We'll be right back with your feature event.
From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, Trading Paints, or via email.
This season of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League is brought to you by Gunfire Games, developers of the hit game Remnant 2, now available for PC, PS5, and Xbox. For more information on Remnant 2, visit www.remnantgame.com.
Here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No, gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Slack.
A push from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Racetrack, about to get things going for our feature event here at Road America. Looking forward to a very exciting race like we saw in the heat. My name is Adam Baker, and welcome back to V-Speed for tonight's event. We do want to thank you for joining us here and supporting the action in the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Let's take a look at tonight's starting grid for your feature event from Road America. Going off from the front row in position number 1, it's going to be Matthew Gazenda, the 52 car. Michael Pavolano going to start from the 2nd spot. Going off from 3rd, Peter Lanik looking to improve after the heat event didn't go his way. Colin Kortnick starting in the 4th spot here tonight. Ryan Kennedy, 2nd in points coming into tonight, rolling off in 5th. Scott Kim going to start from the 6th spot. Edgar Sancinelli going to start from the 7th position. Starting in the 8th spot, it's Aaron Dietrich. Ian Tulin rolling off from 9th here tonight. Dave Hines in the 10th spot. Clint Fletcher, close runner-up in the heat, starts from 11th. Rex Jarwala, your winner, to start from 13th based on the invert. Look forward to a fun second race. 20 minutes on the clock. We're off and away from Road America for the feature race number 5. Side-by-side battle further back here. Aaron Dietrich, Edgar Sancinelli fighting for position. Notably not participating in this one is Mike Nickum. Fortunate result for him in race number 1, and apparently it looks like he's called it a night. Sometimes it is not your night, and that was a rough accident to be a part of. Sometimes can put you off from doing any further racing for the evening. But it is Michael Pavolano, fastest in qualifying. Few issues there in the heat race, but started in 2nd, and he's already gone to the top spot. This 111 is going to be tough to beat. He was one of the top 2 or 3 fastest cars all of that race. We'll see if he's able to carry that kind of speed and stay away from the mistakes. Matthew Gazenda in 2nd spot right now. Also had a fair share of issues early in the race, able to limp it home, but the car heavily damaged. Peter Lanik also had damage from some issues in the first race. Running in that 3rd spot, Colin Kortnick in 4th, Brian Kennedy in 5th. At the back, Dean Tooley and Rex Jarwala swapping positions. So this is a big challenge for the driver who led every single lap and just held on for the victory. And right now running in the 11th position, going to have a lot of work to do. Already 7 seconds back of Pavolano. It's all task to get up there and challenge for the race win. Clint Fletcher, who was so quick throughout the race, currently runs in 10th, but he appears to have maybe just a little touch of damage on the front splitter, so that's not going to help him. He takes a peek. Driver's right on Edgar Sancinelli, not able to make the move. These cars so quick, so much downforce, really tough to find a way around. We're taking a look forward at the 3 machine of Sancinelli. See Scott Kim, Aaron Dietrich doing battle further up the road as there goes Clint Fletcher. Going to look at drivers right, trying to go the long way around. Little dirt being kicked up from the battle in front of them. Scott Kim fighting hard with the 8 of Dave Hines, who was also one of the fastest cars throughout the race. And he's going to slip right in front. That's going to open the door for Clint Fletcher, who's now going to try and go. He's going to get the 2-for-1 special if he can complete the pass here on Scott Kim, and he's going to do just that. Move Clint Fletcher up to 7th, losing a little bit of time making those passes, but pretty efficient as Peter Lanick has gone off the racetrack. Able to get it back rolling, and there is Jarawala closing in on him. He's going to take that position away and move into the top 10. Seeing maybe his closest rival in Clint Fletcher already up to 6th. Going to be difficult, but these two battling back here 11th and 12th. Looks like Lanick going to be able to hang on to 11th and not fall any further in the standings. Michael Pavolano out to 1.7 second lead and extending that off of the final corner. Matthew Gazenda being that Matt Gray Ferrari start to drive away from him. Solidly in second place. Ryan Kennedy, Colin Kortnick, they're going to drag race it down the front stretch. See which car has that much more power, who's a little bit braver down into the turn, and it looks like Colin Kortnick maybe a little deeper in the preferred groove there. Ryan Kennedy hanging tough on the outside, trying to complete this pass, and he will do that. Goes around the long way, and that really did slow up Colin Kortnick's momentum. Here comes Aaron Dietrich, going to try and capitalize. He'll go to driver's left as they make their way towards turn number 5. Hard on the brakes here. It'll be a left-hander and then another left-hander and the 13. Dietrich slipping on through. A little contact as Clint Fletcher tries to find his way through. He'll go around the outside in turn number 6. And he'll be in the preferred groove. Actually completes the pass. Doesn't even have to wait till the next corner. He gets on through. Here comes Dave Hines trying to follow the 69. As Colin Kortnick starting to slip down through the field. Sorry for the drivers. Slipping there's Clint Fletcher with some problems. Not too sure what's going on. But he has lost a lot of ground. I'm not sure if he's maybe having a shifter issue. I keep hearing a car click off the rev limiter. And he's going to actually lose a position back to Colin Kortnick. Now tries to look driver's right as they race down towards turn number 12. Again, hard on the brakes into that braking zone. It will be the 69 clearing. Here comes Hines following suit. They'll race through turn 13 side by side, but that's going to be no problem. Dave Hines on through to 6th. Scott Kim looked very strong in the opening race with a top 5 finish. Top 6 rather, I think. Looking to try and get a position away. Currently runs 8th. Here comes Rex Jarawala making some ground up. He'll go to driver's left towards turn number 1. Should be able to clear the 7-Eleven. Now going to move into the low line, but Kortnick shuts the door, and there goes Edgar Sancinelli, missing the braking zone a little bit. He'll fall to the tail end of the field. Able to keep the car out of the wall and back onto the racing surface. Further up, Aaron Dietrich closing in on Brian Kennedy. This would be for a top 3 finish as Michael Pavolano's gotten away now by about 3.5 seconds. And this battle happening just about 1.5 seconds behind Matthew Gazenda. I think these guys are trying to chase down the 52, and then they may do battle here, but I think Aaron Dietrich maybe just a little bit quicker at the moment in his BMW. Started 8th, already up 4 positions. Clint Fletcher up 6, Dave Hines up 4, Rex Jarawala up 4. Scott Kim, Peter Lanick swapping positions 9 and 10. further back in the field. Really intense battle, actually, amongst the bottom four. And Peter Lanek trying to recover from his mistake a few laps back. Take a look at the heat race winner, Rex Jarawala, trying to make a move here down into turn 12. See that car pushing a little bit through the corner. Not sure if we're having some server connection problems or what exactly the case is, but cars seem to be blinking out just a little bit. Rex Jarawala, big slip up there off turn 14. And that could allow these four drivers behind him to start to close back in. All of them fighting for position at the back of the field here. Cars much closer together in this feature race as we're approaching the halfway point. The gap from second to third starting to shrink now down to about a second between Gazenda and Kennedy. Aaron Dietrich following right along in the tire tracks of the 77. Clint Fletcher putting down very quick laps. The fastest car on the track last time around was Brian Kennedy in third. About a half second or so faster than Michael Pavolano. We'll see if the 111 can keep up this kind of pace or if he's pushed his car just a little bit too hard here through the first 10 minutes. As they run, it's Michael Pavolano, your leader. Matthew Gazenda second. Brian Kennedy third. Aaron Dietrich in fourth. Quint Fletcher rounding out the top five. Dave Hines up 4 positions. He's in sixth. Colin Kortnick in seventh. Rex Jarawala in the 8th spot. Scott Kim back into the top 10 in 9th. Edgar Sanchinelli in 10th. Dean Tooley in 11th. And Peter Lanek is taking it behind the wall in the 12th spot. So not sure what happened with Lanek exactly. But obviously an issue sidelining him here for the feature. Still 11 drivers battling for position. Even these bottom two here, 10th and 11th, Edgar Sanchinelli and Dean Tooley. Aaron Dietrich, really good run off turn number 14. And he's going to track down Brian Kennedy. We'll see if he makes any kind of a move down into turn number 1. We'll see if any of these drivers have problems like we saw with... I'm trying to remember who it was that ran out of fuel there coming to the end of the first race. May have been Dean Tooley, and I think that ran out. And we'll see if he learned from that and put a little bit more fuel in it. A really good battle emerging here for second, third, and fourth. These two drivers right on top of each other, and as they battle, that'll bring Clint Fletcher that much closer in. And all of this happening is letting Michael Pavolano get a little bit further away. Look at Dietrich under braking. Almost made the move there on the 77, not quite able to get alongside. They will stay in line for the moment. Just 8 minutes left to go in this race. But Fletcher closing in on that, bringing Dave Hines along. We're going to have 4 or 5 cars battling to get into the podium. That's going to be pretty interesting to watch, and we'll see if any of these guys are able to make a little bit of a run towards Michael Pavolano. But looks like the 111, after starting in second and taking the lead on lap number 1, looks like he could go flag to flag and come out of here with a victory. Big check up there off turn 14. There goes Gazenda, losing 3 positions from second now back to 5th. And the battle is on between Clint Fletcher and Brian Kennedy, the top two in the championship, trying to get into the podium positions. Aaron Dietrich has second after all of that shakes out. Down into turn one side by side between the 69 and the 77. As Clint Fletcher on the right side down the straightaway here, trying to get through into the podium, and it looks like he's got the advantage for the moment headed into turn number 5. Brian Kennedy going to fall back to the 4th spot. Matthew Gazenda behind him. Under pressure from Dave Hines. 5th and 6th. All of these guys battling for position. Awesome to see. Colin Kortnick not too terribly far behind, but not quite close enough to battle with any of them. Rex Jarawala in the 8th spot, having a good run up 4 positions, but not quite close enough to the lead or even the top 5 really to do battle with them just yet. And as we talk about him, he's going to go around and nose into the wall to the heat race winner with problems in this one. Loses the back end and goes for a slide, and he'll lose the nose off of the Mercedes machine. So not the way that he wanted his feature race to go in his debut, but they'll know he was here with his performance in the heat race all the way back to 11th now. Last of the drivers still on the track. Still not over yet. Positions could be gained, but we're keeping an eye on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. All of these guys fighting for position. And again, apologies for the connection problems. Not exactly sure what is going on here in this server. Appears to be some significant connection problems. And we're gonna see if we can get that rectified. Give us one moment and see if we can figure out exactly what's happening here. Looks like things have stabilized a little bit. We'll see if there's any further problems. Apologies for that. Aaron Dietrich in the 2nd spot, still hanging on over Clint Fletcher, who is looking to try and do better than 2nd in this race, but running out of time. See if he can get up there into that runner-up spot. Aaron Dietrich, really good race for him, up 6 positions. Brian Kennedy just up 1 position from the start of this, but still hanging inside the top 5. Matthew Gazenda in that 5th spot. Dave Hines in 6th after starting in 10th. He is your 3rd biggest mover of the race. Putting that pressure on Matthew Gazenda, seeing if he can get into the top 5. Tooling back here in the 9th position, seeing the number 3 of Edgar Sancinelli making his debut. Nice looking Ford Mustang, trying to get up there in another position before it's all said and done. We could see a battle between those two. Back up here to the position, 5th position. Matthew Gazenda losing that spot. Dave Hines slips on through, and now battle is on for the runner-up spot. There goes Clint Fletcher making the move into turn number 1. Not quite able to complete the pass just yet. Aaron Dietrich powering back around the outside, but they'll race it up side by side into turn number 3. It looks like still a dead heat between these two. Clint Fletcher with the momentum off the corner, though, trying to get on through. Again, apologies. Not sure what is going on with the server, with the session. They're definitely having some problems here and losing drivers momentarily. Clint Fletcher in the second spot now as he completes the pass on Aaron Dietrich. That's going to stack things up behind. As here comes Brian Kennedy, going to try and look to driver's left. Not quite close enough, but showing that he is there. Dave Hines now into the top 5. I believe these are the 4 quickest in this 5-car pack. Gazenda started on the pole, currently running in 6th. Still a strong race from him. Much improved over the heat. And they'll be coming back to the white flag, and Michael Popolano only needing to get around one more time, mistake-free, and that'll be a victory for the 111. Keep an eye on 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. It looks like Clint Fletcher's at least driven away enough for the moment. Still having problems here in the server. Clint Fletcher in that second spot. As there goes Brian Kennedy off turn 14. He's going to lose a couple of positions. See what happened to him. Went for a little bit of a ride through the gravel, as looks like we may have footage of that. There we go. Yeah, it just goes a little wide on entry. Not sure what happened exactly. Slipped off the racetrack, falls to 7th now as Colin Kortnick actually was able to get on past him. And he's going to try and get that position back here on the white flag lap. This could be a position that changes hands. Also, Aaron Dietrich, Clint Fletcher, Dave Hines, all these guys inside the top 5. Still trying to settle where they're going to end up on the scoring chart. Keep an eye on the battle for 6th, though, with Colin Kortnick and Brian Kennedy. As waiting for everything to come back here. Things really falling through at the moment. Not exactly sure what's going on. But looks like Brian Kennedy able to get the pass completed, and you can see a little bit of a glitch there with the graphics for a moment. Clint Fletcher still hanging on to 2nd, and Michael Popolano just a few more corners to go, and he'll claim victory here at Road America in a flawless race after a few mistakes in the heat. Going to come home with a much better finishing position here in the feature event. Michael Popolano looks like he should be able to make it around turn number 14 here in just a moment, but we've lost the field. And it looks like he should be able to win tonight's race at Road America. Again, apologies for all the problems here. Not exactly sure what is going on with the server, with the session. We don't have this happen really ever. I've never seen this exact problem, so looks like we've lost the field for the moment, and hopefully we'll get it back here in just a few seconds. But thank you for bearing with us tonight. And if you have enjoyed the broadcast, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be right back after a quick moment here to settle things out. We'll go through our final results and interview our top 3 finishers for the night.
From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email.
This season of the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League is brought to you by Gunfire Games, developers of the hit game Remnant 2, now available for PC, PS5, and Xbox. For more information on Remnant 2, visit www.remnantgame.com. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The road gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back at the racetrack now. We were not able to get things figured out, but hoping to figure out our problem here. Here's something to do with the internet has dropped, so unfortunate to see that happen.